And the rebound secured by Brower. Up the floor quickly to Reed. Blocked away. Little hesitation, and Snowdy with the return. We got ourselves a block party at Lone Peak High School.
Deseret News Rewind is presented by Heidemann & Associates, a full-service law firm dedicated to winning for you. Call them now for a free consultation. Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann & Associates and brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard.
That's right, Dusty. And you know, I have had, here's a fun fact. You ready for this?
I love fun facts.
I've had one signing bonus in my life. One. Not very much. You can get a $20,000 signing bonus available from the Utah Army National Guard, depending on the career path chosen. Over 150 different career path options available. To learn more, visit www.nationalguard.com.
Get job training. Come back. I'll give you a better one than the first one.
Done.
Oh, man, it's been a great week this week. Yeah. It's been interesting. But Heidemann & Associates, they're there for you. And one of the things I always talk about with them, and it's one of their great services, is getting will and trust set up. Getting your family in order. And we never know when something's going to happen. If anything this week's reminded us of, it is that. We don't know what's going to happen. We can't take anything for granted and just think that I'll see you later is going to be later. Yeah. And but make sure you got things taken care of. Heidemann Associates there for you. Living Will and Trust, a bunch of other things. Full service law firm, but go check them out at www.utah.law.
In fact, while we're on that, maybe a little bit of a serious note. Last week we talked about Coach Reggie Shaw from Bear River. Folks still undergoing treatment, trying to work through rehab. Opportunities to donate are available. We'll be retweeting those links, but this is a family in real need. And as you mentioned this week, you know, the basketball family, basketball community just had an opportunity to remember how fragile life is, and we've got an opportunity here in our community to help make a difference for a young man and a young family. Coach Reggie Shaw, Bear River, we're still thinking of you. And please follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Dane_Stewart. Make sure that we'll get you that link. Please see if you can help out this family that's in need. Absolutely. Well, let's get to more lighthearted things. Yeah. Moments are too rare for such heavy-handed words and moments, to steal a line. But let's go to the opening statement brought to you by Heidemann & Associates. And, well, we learned a lot in our 3 games of the week on the boys' side this week. And let's start first with yours, Lone Peak Skyridge. Man, a good one, huh? And, I mean, Lone Peak, we talked about this last week, felt like they were starting to figure it out, get pieces put together. And, boy, what a game this was. Lone Peak Skyridge went back and forth. But at the end, I mean, it was Skyridge able to find a way to pull away, and Snowdy had a really nice game, 22 points. Luke Brower really came on, had 11 points in the first half for Skyridge. Just finished with 11, but he had some real key minutes early on. Housley had 10. That Housley-Zettner matchup was so fun to watch. 2 dynamic point guards. Zettner finished with 14. Brimhall had 22 and 8. How about this? Lone Peak. They lost the game 61-58, Dusty. They shot under 50% from the line, the Knights did. When was the last time that happened at Lone Peak? I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but when you think of the run that Lone Peak has been on in this state, typically very good from the line. They struggled from the line Tuesday night. It was a big differentiator and a reason why they couldn't come back, get the win over Skyridge. Skyridge with an impressive win, and that sends a statement. Well, let's talk about impressive wins. How about the Davis Darts? Yeah. Woo! You thought the first time we saw that Fremont game, that was a message sent. How about the second one? Up 35 points at one point, 70-35. It took a long time for Fremont, I think it was in the fourth quarter, to get to 20 points. Dallin Hall was 1 of 5 at the half. Fremont was 0 of 9 from 3. And this is what I talked about in the broadcast. The three-point ball was the absolute differentiator. They were down, I think, 28 points going into the break, and it was all three-pointers. Davis was 6 of 12 from 3, where Fremont was 0 of 9. Wasn't even just three-pointers. From the floor. Right. 15 of 23. Right. 61% for Davis, 26% from Fremont. Yeah. Ugh. And it was a gut punch from the very beginning, and just saw the onslaught coming, and it was, wow. If Davis is right, but this is what, again, what we know about Region 1, and if you watch enough NBA ball right now, your team's going to lose by 40 points. You don't see it in high school basketball that often, especially when someone like Dallin Hall, who's so prolific in scoring, just could not get it going. And half of it was that the game was in a point where, to his credit, he never just forced it and said, I'm getting mine. Yeah. He didn't do that. So you're not going to say, well, of course he got 20 points. You push it up. He didn't.
2 field goals all night long. And a lot of that was just Davis was playing the secondary pass. And Coach Sims, man, tip of the cap to you. 2-0 against Fremont. And a big game coming up this week against Layton. But Davis, scary, scary, scary. I don't want to say who's best team in 6A anymore. Yeah. It's in Region 1, I believe.
You know, I'll tell you this. We've said it all year long. No one's going to run the table. No one will run the table. They've all lost. That Davis-Layton game this week is going to be huge.
Yep.
And for Layton, you can't worry about Fremont yet. You got to focus on Davis. I know that's not going to be a problem. It's going to be a really, really key game in Region 1. You might have your region champion crowned Friday night.
It'll be very, very interesting. Well, if Layton wins, well, nothing's done because you still got that game at Fremont. So we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll let you know that. We'll be there. How about this one? Lehigh, go check out our video, the moment of the week.
Yeah.
But what we learned about Lehigh, I tell you, this is a very balanced team.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I really love the depth they showed tonight. It was a bit of a tough night for Tyson Hawkins. You know, he had some early points, but didn't really find his mojo. McKay Wall had foul trouble in the second half. Gonzalez, you know, he really came alive. But it was a gritty effort from a senior that really, I mean, Coach Yeager told us was his best game all year long, and they needed every bit of that. You know, Alta had a tough night shooting the ball at the rim, at the line, from the 3, and it's a team that when you look statistically, you know, their field goal shooting percentage is a little bit low than what you would expect. Defense has usually kept them in a lot of games. It kept them in the game tonight. We said at the start of the 4th they'd have to make free throws to be in it. Lehigh completely dominated them from the line in that 4th quarter. I think they made 12 or 14 free throws to Alta's 2 in the 4th. It was a real differentiator and helped the Lehigh Pioneers pull away in what is a very congested Region 7.
Yeah, talk about congestion. That's everywhere in the state. Yeah. Let's get into this. Let's go through some of these regions and results coming in tonight.
Yeah.
Let's start in Region 1. Everyone that you expect to take care of business did take care of business. Fremont bounced back. Syracuse came back, and Davis and Layton also won as well.
How about a nice win for Clearfield this week? You know, been a bit of a tough year for Clearfield this year. They get a 60-57 win over Syracuse. Yeah. And Grayson Banks, 15 points, 13 rebounds. Look, when there are teams that are struggling a little bit and get nice wins, we want to point out Clearfield with a nice region win this week.
How about West Jordan? 56-51 winners over Cypress. They won earlier this week against Taylorsville, 55-52.
In overtime.
The Jags, man. Thought about it. No one's talking about them. Well, we are. And good nights tonight.
I was going to say, we'll talk about them right now. I mean, you talk about that game against Taylorsville, 7-4 in overtime in favor of West Jordan. Logan Prince had 24 points, hit 4 threes, 11 rebounds. Asafe Taufahema, 10 and 10. Gabe, I think it's Evans. I think I misspelled it. 14 points. This West Jordan team, we're going to talk about them more and more. For me, I thought Cypress and I thought Taylorsville. No, it appears to be West Jordan as the team to beat. They've got a big game coming up this week, but the West Jordan Jaguars taking care of business. Those two were undefeated. That was for first place in the region, and the Jags came out the better end. Congratulations.
Region 3, Copper Hill sitting at the top, got a nice win against Harriman, resulting coming against the Bingham game, but 78-69.
Yeah, I had a 21-6 first quarter. And boy, when you fall down by 15 that early on, I mean, you know it, Fremont Davis, right? It's tough to get the wheels back on the track. Stone Hutchings, 34 points for Stone in that game. Wow. Kylan Shorts had 12 assists in the game, and Bodie Nagley had 20 in the loss for Harriman. But big win for Copper Hills. And Copper Hills in first place in Region 3 through the first round. I thought they'd be good. I thought it was going to be Harriman or Bingham. Copper Hills, new coach, hasn't changed anything.
Well, Tuesday night, Skyridge beats Lone Peak, and they are the fish out in front.
Yeah.
And then tonight,
adios, muchacho.
Corner Canyon, 64-61 winners against Skyridge. And all of a sudden now, Region 4, 4-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and 3-3 for Corner Canyon.
You know, Corner Canyon had a nice win this week over American Fork as well. Trace Ross had 19 points in that win. It was a 20-point win for the Charger. Get a nice win against Skyridge. And just when we think we have Region 4 figured out, nope.
Trace Ross, 26 points, hit 4 triples. We had someone tell us that knows him really well, said, hey, when Trace is on, whoa, it is on.
I mean, I was talking with a coach that had to play Corner Canyon earlier this year, and he was like, I don't know how to defend Trace Ross. I was like, yeah, I don't think anyone really does.
You get those notes, let people know. Yeah. So 6A, be very, very interesting to watch what happens.
How about another nice game in Region 4? Westlake, overtime over Pleasant Grove. 82-74, 11-3 in overtime. Hunter Phillips, 19-8. Parker Nelson, 19-5. congratulations to Westlake on a big region
Well,
win.
in a game that they would have just died if they had not.
Right.
They would have had big leads, and PG came storming back to send that to overtime. And
Speaking of, how about a little versatility here, huh? Isaac Vaha, basketball player, but he picked up football offers this week. Nebraska, Washington. Isaac, congratulations. And Cale Mickelson.
Yes,
An
Cale.
offer to BYU. And a kid, Cale.
Love that. Yeah. Came here as a sophomore, been outstanding. All right, Region 5.
Whew.
Bountiful loses to Farmington earlier this week, but Bountiful sitting at the top because they come back and get a win against Box Elder. And Farmington, well, they come off the big win against Bountiful, and they have the night off. Well, actually, they play Woods Cross. We're still waiting for that one to come in.
Big win for Farmington. I mean, Bountiful, they were undefeated in region. They got that win over Woods Cross. Felt like, oh, maybe this team is starting to come together. We've talked about it, right? That you knew the pieces were there, just had to get things sorted out. Thought that was being sorted out, and Farmington did the unsort. The incredible thing is Farmington came from behind. They trailed 18-6 at the end of the first quarter against the Braves, mounted a 49-30 second half. Colin Chandler had 22 points. Walton went 17-7. Whaley 20. Chisholm 15 in the loss. Farmington throws their hat back in the ring for a region title.
Region 6. Region 6. All right. Olympus and Murray both get wins this week. Say 8-2. Brighton squeaks one out against East, a 1-point win, and that pulled them into a tie with East at 7-3.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, we talk about it every week, how tight things are up top in that region. Murray got the win over Brighton, 54-49. Otto had 13. Pelé had 12. Skyline got a win over Highland this week by 4 in a real high-scoring game between a couple teams that haven't put up a lot of points this year. Delos had 21. Galesas had 18. Region 6, man.
Yeah. Well, if not Region 6, it's Region 7. How about just finishing games? Play until the buzzer sounds. Ask Taft Mitchell. Hits a banked in a three-pointer. His shot just crossed midcourt to beat Lehigh. Lehigh bounced back, gets a win in our game of the week tonight. But how about this? Timpview knocks off Timpanogos, and now all of a sudden, a four-way tie in Region 7.
That kind of a year in Region 7. Hey, you ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
You want to know the first state champion in basketball?
Lehigh.
1908. I discovered that this week. I was kind of excited because we were coming here, and the intern kind of blew that earlier in the night. I don't know if you knew that or not prior to that.
There's a banner.
Thanks,
right
Preston. Anywho, Lehigh, you talk about, this is a region of resilience, okay? Yeah. Whoever the most resilient team will be will win this region, because every night there's a team losing by 1 on a last-second shot, and then they got to go and find a way to win their next one, and that's just how Region 7 is, the region of resilience.
Region 8, it's Springville's bus, and you're all just riding in it.
Yes, it is.
9-0 as the Red Devils taking care of business. Took care of Spanish Fork. Not a close one in the return game. Get a 75, it's 17-point win, and then got a big win against Park City tonight as they are just rolling right along.
Yeah, Terry had 20 points, 9 assists in the win over Spanish Fork. How about Salem Hills? A double overtime win this week. Hardy had 22 and 6. Burton 17 and 14 in the win for Salem Hills. Region 8, man.
All right, let's go best of the rest real quick here. Quick hits brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Dixie stays undefeated, wins over Cedar City and Crimson Cliffs this week.
How about Morgan? But really, the performance by Providence Hall in overtime at home, they failed to the Trojans, 72-64. Seth Hadley, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals for the Trojans. It took them overtime, but they got the win over the Patriots.
Hey, how about a big win this week? Cedar Valley. Well, got a big win against Juan Diego. Sorry, I read it, and I had it in my notes. I'm like, wait, am I wrong? 62-49 win for Cedar Valley, giving Juan Diego their first loss in region play. 3 guys in double figures was Monroy, Whitmarsh, and Ensley leading the way for Cedar Valley.
That one shocked me. How about Desert Hills over Hurricane, 59-52. Mason Chase with 22 in the win.
Emory beat Carbon.
There it is.
The end. No, we'll give you some stats. I was with some folks from home, some of which have traded sides, and I'll go to Emory. It was Brax Jensen, 25 points. Jordan Ecker had 13. Kyler Wilstead, that's a great basketball name in Emory's history, 17 points in the win for the Spartans.
How about Tooele? 61-52 over Stansbury. Justin Rogers, 23 points, 13 rebounds. This Tooele team thought they had a lot of potential. They're still in the mix, but they need to win some games here late to get a region championship.
Well, not shout out. Condi had 16 for the Dinos. So make sure Coach Condi's kid gets his love. Manti stays unbeaten in region play. Manti just continues to roll right along. A team finally scored 50. It was Union, but they didn't get the win. So good job on Manti, snapping the streak that went all the way back to December.
Wow. I got one more for you.
Okay.
You ready for one more?
Yep.
How about a little, I think it's Region 17 action? I might be wrong on that.
Roland Hall?
No, but Roland Hall is really good and long. They had an impressive win this week. But the team I was going to talk about, how about St. Joe's, the Jayhawks? They got a nice 72-68 win over Waterford. Had another nice win this week, St. Joe's did. All of a sudden, they're kind of starting to peak at the right time. Savion Armstrong, folks, a young man. We've talked about it a little bit. He is a really dynamic scorer. 43 points, 4 3-pointers, 10 rebounds in the game from your point guard, nonetheless. Stockton Buckway had 15 points in the win for St. Joe's. He had a big night in their other win this week. They had a 24-14 fourth quarter to come back from behind on the Ravens of Waterford to get the win, and St. Joe's winning games late.
No, but before we go, the closing statement brought to you by Heidemann & Associates. We're going through our top 5s, and this week we turn to our top 5 gyms. Now, this goes into gyms, atmosphere, lots of things go into this one.
Yeah, I mean, the building in and of itself, right?
Okay.
The atmosphere, the fans, these were all things I took into account when doing my top 5 gyms.
I just went whoever treated me better, so there you
Yeah,
go.
well, I can't be bought.
Everyone's got a price.
can't.
With the $1
Brownies
million
and
man,
cookies.
the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase taught me a long time ago. Everyone's got a price. All right, we'll start with yours.
All right, we going 6A, 5A, or are we going
Let's
with
go
the...
6A, 5A first.
All right, 6A, 5A first. So I've got a few honorable mentions, all right? Because
Okay.
I really struggled to get to 5, all right? There are very few gyms, Dusty, that have in fact, do you know how many gyms have a football championship banner from 1944 hanging in their rafters?
Well, only 2, because it was
2.
AB.
Yeah. Cypress is one of them. I'll tell you, I had a chance to go to the Cypress gym this year. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love the Cypress gym. It's cool to sit behind the backboard. Very, very unique. Olympus, Weber, Skyridge, all my honorable mentions. Now into the top 5. All right. Number 5, the Bountiful Braves. I love that gym.
Yeah.
It's huge, it's ginormous, and it gets loud. And when you get good crowds in there, rivalries.
And we've not
oh my
shared
goodness.
these with each other either. I have no idea what you have on here. Yeah.
Am I going through all
No,
mine?
no,
Or are we
yeah,
going
go
back
through
and
it.
forth?
Actually, let's go back and forth.
All right. So there's my number
Vince,
5,
yeah?
Bountiful High School.
Well, all right, so my number 5, Fremont.
Okay.
People treat us terrific. It's
They
always
do.
good.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
basketball, especially the last 3 years. But
Yeah.
Fremont, even over the years, has been terrific. It's number 5, the Fremont Silver Wolves.
Yeah.
I don't have any honorable mentions.
Number 4 for me, the Fremont Silver Wolves. Dusty, milk and cookies. You can't turn that down. Plus, you think of all the highlights we've had there. Dallin Rogers, Saxton Moore. I mean, it's been a long time. And right now,
Dallin
girls
Hall.
basketball. Yeah, sorry, I said Dallin Morgan. I don't know where that came. Dallin Hall. I got you, Dallin. But the student sections there are always great. They show up for girls, too. Really fun atmosphere at Fremont night in, night out.
I have Bountiful 4, so I'll go to my number 3, Olympus. There ain't nothing better than an old Titan triple. Old gym and new gym.
All right.
I love them both.
Yeah. Oh, man, that old gym. That's a good one. Number 3 for me, Dusty, Lone Peak. That thing gets rowdy. And I had a chance with Skyridge this week. Now, I know that's a rival, but it's not really a built-up rivalry like the PG. It was still loud. It was still ruckus. You still had the stand shake in Lone Peak number 3.
Okay. I just gave you my number 3. So number 2, I know this is probably your number 1, Layton. Layton. You get a good game, especially Davis. Layton is awesome. Now, one thing I'm so proud of, we didn't have the band sitting in our ear to our right, but other than that, love going to Layton High School. I don't know if they're going to rebuild a new gym or anything else like that. I don't want them to. It's terrific.
Yeah, my number 2, Dusty, is Pleasant Grove. And you look at PG, Valhalla.
Yeah.
Man, it is big, but they fill it. And especially for rivalry games, there are not many gyms that get louder than Pleasant Grove. It's lit beautifully. The lighting's right. The angles are right.
color
The
scheme's
floor is
beautiful.
nice. Pleasant Grove, number 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. And
I guess that's your number 1.
well, when I had to do 5A, 6A, I had to omit some, and that was a hard one. Thanks, Vince. No, my number 1, because I got a lot of memories in this gym, Lone Peak.
All right.
Frank Jackson down the lane against Lehigh. I won't tell you. Was one of my favorite highlights ever. And now that goes in also the 2013 year. I did the game there, but I go all the way back to Tyler Haas and Rios and Bracken Funk. Hopefully Bracken's watching this. Josh Sharp and team. A lot of good memories there, all the way up and even to last year. And, it's been spectacular. So number 1, the Lone Peak Knights for me.
You know, PG could have been an honorable mention for you.
I didn't want to do honorable mentions.
Well, some of us just try to be more inclusive. My number one, the Wayton Wancers. And you're right, they were my number one, Dusty, and largely because whenever I go to Layton, it's for a rivalry game. And I'll tell you, there is not a more packed house than Layton High School when they play Davis. It's like a can of sardines. And for the first time, we did not have the band right next to us. We had fans instead, but just an unreal atmosphere. And you know what I love about it is it's that old gym feel. It's not the big, expansive. It is brick walls right behind the backboard. You get, one lit side. I mean, it's just unreal. And I love the Layton High School gym.
Yeah.
Number one.
A lot of the old ones I love too. So, all right, now let's go to the ones outside of 5A, 6A. We call them the rest. I'll start. Number 5. It won't shock anybody. Emory. The Emory Gym. If you haven't been to the Emory Gym, this thing is, it's gorgeous. One side is the stadium seating, the rest are benches.
Yeah.
But here's what I love about it. They built a gym and they built it right. They didn't do the backboards with the poles running in the middle and play. They actually have the roll-in standards.
Wow.
Spectacular. Absolutely. And not only that, my grandma's got she's got a brick there. Grandma Coletti lived in Castledale, and they built a new gym. She bought a brick. So it says Linelda Coletti in there. Someone can send us a picture of that, and I'll maybe make me talk good things about Emory. But Emory coming at number 5.
It's the first time Emory has ever made a ranking of Dusty's. Congratulations, Dusty. This is real progress. Hey, I'm not going to let you skip over my honorable mentions. I got 2 of them for you. I got the Skyview Bobcats. That's a really cool gym. It's a little bit older, but it's a really cool gym. Skyview, love it. And Ogden. Ogden High School is a really cool gym. The old structure, and it's
the high school itself is awesome.
The high school is awesome. The gym, really fun. They didn't build it too big. It's just the right size for Ogden. I love Ogden. All right, my number 5. I remember back in the day when we started this, there were very few schools that were doing video presentations. You want to know one of the schools that was? Layton Christian.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is the Layton Christian gym. Very few gyms have padded seats. Layton Christian does. They want you to make sure you enjoy the basketball and you're comfortable while doing so.
BJ Porter getting dunks at that place was amazing. That place was bonkers.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. That was Layton Christian versus American Heritage. All right, number 4, Dixie. Dixie Flyers, mostly because I've seen it all on videos. I wanted to put Burns Arena, but that doesn't work.
I wanted to put Burns too.
But Dixie, it's one of the older ones as well. It's not like Snow Canyon or any of the other ones, but a lot of great history at Dixie High School basketball.
You want natural light when you watch basketball? Then go to my number 4, American Heritage. I saw video of this gym and I was like, oh my goodness, it feels like you're in a plaza. It's glass like 3/4 of the way around the stadium. Brand new. I've never been inside. I've just seen pictures and videos. Yes, please. American Heritage, number 4.
Number 3, Geno Morgan Court, Wasatch Academy. It's loud. It's well lit.
Yeah.
And packed house. You don't have to have a lot of people in there. It's loud. It's great. Love Geno Morgan Court.
It's a good one. Good one. My number 3, Dusty, there are very few floors that have the confidence to put plaid in the center circle. Ben Lomond does. And by the way, while you're at it, we're going to have a picture of a Scotsman on the floor. Look, I went to Utah State. I love a good Scotsman. Ben Lomond, number 3.
Milking cows? I don't understand. Sorry. Shouldn't have done that. Number 2 for me, and I brought up this gym before because one of my favorite memories was in this gym, the Delta Wabbits. Delta's gym is a mini Delta Center, all stadium seating. It was built for, not basketball, but for the wrestling program. And it is awesome. It's a roll-in the standard kind of thing as well, but you got seats all over the place. It's got levels to it. We've got to get down there somehow, some way, and maybe we'll do a wrestling match. But 2001, I was part of the wrestling team that snapped the winning streak. It's great. That's number 2, Delta. It is awesome.
That gym was probably even better that night. My number 2, Judge Memorial.
Yes.
You get the old, lift up, right? And you got seating behind one of the backboards. You just don't see that anymore. Really, really cool. You also have a really dangerous pole behind one of the backboards. We won't go into that, but the Judge Memorial Gym, really cool.
Or the little catwalk thing to get up to shoot from the little, crow's nest.
I luckily didn't have to walk on that.
Yeah, did it once.
Yeah.
Vince Francis and I did that one a couple years back. Number 1, you know where I'm going. Carbon. The Dinos. The first gym in the state that had the track around the gym.
The oil patch.
First of all, coal. Thank you very much.
Dinosaurs turn into oil.
And coal. Yeah. Old carbon gym. Get the track that still goes around the top. I was one of the first ones to do it. Science. It is my home. I will always pick my gym. I'll even take the old gym over some of these other ones. But carbon.
All right, my number one, Dusty. In fact, this is my favorite gym in the entire state. I like it even better than Layton High School. Wasatch Academy.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you, and people might roll their eyes, make the trip to Wasatch Academy and go to a game. I don't care who they're playing. This is not a huge gym, Dusty. You have a couple hundred people in there, and it feels like there are 5,000. It is loud. It's old wood plank. It's a great floor. The setup is beautiful. The lighting, you already talked about it. It is a fun gym. You walk in, and you have Geno Morgan right there. You've got locker rooms that are under the bleachers.
State championships there.
I mean, it is fantastic. You look at the building from the outside, and you're like, oh, that's 1960s. And you walk in, and it is phenomenal. Yeah. I love the Wasatch Academy gym, my favorite gym in the entire state.
The only state championship in North St. Pete history is the boys basketball championship, and it's in the trophy case when you walk into Geno Morgan Court.
Yeah, there you go. Wasatch Academy.
Off campus.
Make the trip, folks. It is worth it.
It is well worth it as well. Well, gyms we're missing, we know. We only talked about 15 of them, 16 of them. I think we had a mix of a lot of them. Dane is, he got a couple in there too.
I try to be inclusive.
But hit us up on Twitter. Let us know the gyms that we're missing on here as well. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard.